Good morning, and it's Keith Hayes without his hat. And we can't have that. That's like a black cat. Not bringing you good luck. Hang on. Where is it? You see, if I put it where it was supposed to be, I could find it in no time flat. As it is, aha, it's on the coffee table. There we go. Now, I'm hoping that I'm going to be joined by Richard Barton and or Philip Meredith. We had them both on last week, and a powerful combination they are. If you haven't watched them, you should. And if I get the opportunity this morning, I will. Ah, there we are. Philip has entered the studio. Good morning, Philip. Can you hear me? No, you obviously can't. Hello, Philip. No? Well, don't say that we're going back to the bad old days when this has just been fixed so that everything should work, and it's not working again. And I get very, very upset. This should not have to bother us. I can't see that anything is blocked. And here we go again. And it just it is very, very, very distressing. It's really distressing. And one of the things that we've got going here is that we have an IT expert who will come and look after older people, more mature people like me, because I do get so frustrated at the very simple things. I have no idea why we haven't got sound. No idea at all. So I'm going to resend to Philip and try it again. And in the meantime, can I recommend to you, because I'm assuming that I can be heard. I didn't do a test this morning because I was a bit rushed with other things. But can I say to you, if you come across something called malware bytes, don't fall for it. It's a scam. Right, Philip, can you hear me now?
I can.
Ah, right. Well heaven only
hold on.
knows what was going on before. Richard has an invitation, but I couldn't get hold of him this week. And I know that sometimes he gets tied up in court.
Yes, well, my coming on was in the hope that he would be on as well. I noticed that we're live. So what shall we talk about?
Well, the thing is that we're altering tack a wee bit, Philip, because running a television station, as you know, I don't have to tell you because you've done it for me, is a very onerous matter. And as we get older, and with me particularly getting more ill and sicker, I had the doctor here the other day to check me over, I can't handle it. So to go out the way that we have been going out, is we are changing to what I call a blog.
Yes, you explained this to me last time, yeah.
And so to viewers, you'll be able to tap in at any time and find whatever I'm talking about or whatever Philip is talking about simply by finding us by our faces or names or whatever. I haven't totally sorted it out yet because one of the things, Philip, and I'm sure that you find it, I can work away until about noon, and then my energy starts to disappear. And so if I've got good thoughts about what I'm going to do in a day, if I haven't got them done by noon, they get shifted to the next day. Which means I'm nowhere near as swift as I used to be.
Keith, nor should you expect yourself to be. You're an elderly man suffering from a debilitating affliction as well as simple old age. You know, I think you're too hard on yourself. I think you when you're on form, you're on form. And there are times like all of us when you're not on form.
Yes, absolutely. However, one thing I'm going to stick you with now is give me a date for me to come to Littlehampton. I managed to get to Hove on the train on my own, so I'm sure I can get to Littlehampton if you were on the platform with your arms ready to embrace me and say, Mr. Keith, it's so good to see you, and we should go along to the pub and have a lunch.
Well, it's a lovely idea. Putting it into action is slightly difficult because I feel very responsible for you, and I'm not exactly mobile myself.
Oh dear, I'm sad to hear that.
Well, it's my knees. I'll make no bones about it. No pun intended. I can hardly to walk from Littlehampton Station to the Arran View would be very difficult for me.
Oh dear. Well, I'm sad to hear that.
And bizarrely, normally it's cold weather that makes the arthritic knee worse, but this heat has not helped.
No, I can well imagine.
So I don't feel able to support you physically in any way.
Okay.
So we'll end up falling over together, basically.
Now there's a vision. Hayes and Meredith falling together in Main Street at Littlehampton.
Well,
oh dear.
What I want to do, and because after we appeared last week, Richard actually rang me for the first time in months and months and months, or more, longer. So he actually rang me, and we chatted about how ill he has been.
Yes.
And he's still not well. He repeated everything he'd said to us on the blog. Well, it's not actually a blog, it's a vlog. They call it a vlog, Keith, because it's visual.
Yes.
A blog is like a podcast.
Written stuff, yeah.
But we're doing, if you want to call it thus, a vlog. But so he repeated everything in the phone call that he'd said on air, which I found very unlike him. And that's obviously an effect that his illnesses have had on him, which I find, if I'm right, and I fear I am, I find very sad. However, something that did appeal to him was that I would come to Lewis and hook up with you and him for lunch. Now, I know that's for you a busman's holiday, basically, but that is where you live, that is where you are known, that is where you are secure, and you're not far from the flat.
No, will you be secure now that I know that you're having difficulty with mobility?
No, I drive to Ford Station, park up, walk onto the platform, get on a train, cross the platforms at Brighton, get to Lewis, where I will order a taxi, which will bring me to whichever venue you choose.
Right, now can I interrupt you for a moment, because I just heard our favourite entertainer. Did you not hear him?
What, Casper?
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you meant that Barton was on. No, sorry. Yeah, he's not overly loud this morning, but he may become so. Won't you, Casper? It's Keith. Yes. It's Keith.
Yes. You're one of our stars, Casper. You know that.
Yes, Casper.
Well, I should look forward to that arrangement, Philip.
Well, that's the way to do it. Because the difference between you and me is that I don't, thus far, have parkies, and I'm considerably younger than you. So that's got what's going for me. My only problem is bad knees.
Right.
And so that, no, there's no way I'll be walking up the hill. I did that for so many years, and that's one of the reasons my knees are worn out. Because all I used to do was get public transport and walk to work. So whether it was Lewis, Hove, Brighton, I mean, Brighton's an absolute killer.
Yes, it is.
Down and up. And I did that for years. So it's not surprising that my knees, which were already bad, my left one particularly, it's no surprise that they're just worn out. They're worn out.
Well, now, the first program in this vlog is going to remain something called Break an Egg, and it will be a chat about what's happening of interest to us in the world with interesting people. So let us vlog it this morning, is Break an Egg, because I know you are a keen follower of football, particularly Manchester City. What do you make of our performance last night?
Well, let me be honest. Yes, I am a very, very lifelong follower of Manchester City, but I'm afraid I gave up following the national team a long time ago. And I have deliberately not watched one game. I followed last night on a scorecard on the BBC, and then the inevitable happened. England are a constant letdown, and the further they go, the worse it gets. And to have lost in a critical 8 minutes to those cheating animals from Argentina just absolutely rubbed it in. And of course, they love it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I read that one of their substitutes started celebrating on the pitch in front of the England players while the game was still going. And nothing was done to him. He wasn't booked or anything. No, it's dismal stuff. And
yeah.
I feel very much for the players. You've got it on in the background.
I've got it on in the background, yes.
Rather upsetting me.
Well, I'm sorry about that. It's just that I don't want to miss any news that comes in because apart from football, which after all is only football, all sorts of things are happening around the world and seem to be happening quite quickly. So,
well, you say it's only football. Not to the Argentinians, it's not. They associate, and their politicians have associated the match last night with the issue of the Falkland Islands. They call them Las Malvinas.
Yes.
And as we remember, in 1981...
we beat the arse off them.
Well, the then junta, right-wing fascist government, military government in Argentina, as we who are old enough remember, invaded the Falklands. And Thatcher, to save her political bacon at the time, insisted that there was a task force put together. And that sailed and flew right down the Atlantic, and we kicked them out of the islands. A considerable death toll. I mean, I read only the other day, the Argies lost nearly 500 people, but the British, we lost 250 odd personnel. So it was a costly event, and it decimated our premier regiments. It decimated the paras, it decimated the Marines. We lost ships and the rest. But no, only last week, some politician in Argentina called us illegally occupying pirates. And one of the Argentinian football administrators had to come out and say, we as a football team do not associate with politics, but actually
they do. They march onto the pitch with a banner last night.
And they've got banners, and they've got veterans of that war who sing national anthems and whatever. And, you know, to say that they dissociate the football from politics is a lie. And even the game itself, you know, I remember 1986 when Maradona punched the ball into the English net.
Yeah.
Now, today, VAR hopefully would have seen that, and he'd have been sent off for deliberate handball, and the goal would be disallowed. But that couldn't and didn't happen in those days. So he fooled the referee, he fooled the linesman. All the England players knew what had happened, and on the replay you can see them all doing this to the referee and the linesman. Nothing was done. So what did the Argentinians call it? Did they come out and say, sorry, we've cheated? No. The hand of God.
Yes, that's right.
How disgusting is that? I'm not overly religious.
It is. But the way I look at it, Philip, is I share every sentiment that you just expressed. But as a conquering nation, I'm not sure whether it was still so when you were a boy, but the boy's own annual, yearly, used to start off dedicated to the boys of the empire on which the sun never sets.
Yeah,
that was after the war.
Yeah.
So we were still triumphant in those days, and we had that sort of loyalty. And so I am a child of that age. I just laugh at these people for being such buffoons, and think, as Brits, we have taken taunts and nonsenses and so on and so forth. But what we continue to do is to have influence in the proper places. Now, other than this, have you seen that Argentina has any sort of influence?
I don't quite influence on what, Keith? I'm sorry.
On anything. On anything in the world. We are still, even though we've taken a few backward steps, we are still sitting at the main tables.
Oh, hang on a minute. I get your point now. Well, it's obvious that you don't hear of Argentina or any of the South American countries being influential on the global stage. Yes, I accept that Britain is at the top table but are we Great Britain or are we smaller Britain?
Well, now that's a different argument, I think. We are still there. We still do have influence. We still do have a voice. And the people who beat us last night can do this all they want. But they have absolutely no influence in global affairs. So where will they be? In a week's time, they'll be on the bus home. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be talking about this event as, do you remember the last World Cup? And we'll get on with the real things, which you and me and Richard and Harry and so on discuss, even though we may be small, even though we may not have a huge voice, but we will discuss them authoritatively because we have the experience, we have the know-how, we have the education. This lot of maulers, let me put it this way. I once was in Hong Kong, aren't we all? And I came down to breakfast, and the Australian seven-a-side cricket team were there, and they came down for breakfast. Well-known sporting names. And do you know what my reaction was, watching them at breakfast? Bloody hell, I wouldn't want any of this lot at my table at home.
No, that I get.
And I think the same. Who are these people? They've got one talent. They can kick a ball. But I think it was Aristotle or Plato that said, if a man becomes an expert in one thing, he seems to adopt the right to be able to say anything he wants about any other topic. And that's exactly what this lot were last night. What do they know? They have no experience in world affairs. They're not influential and so on. They are footballers. They are quite clever when it comes to kicking the ball. Stick to it.
Well, yes, but they're also generally very wealthy people.
Well, yes, but that's the game, isn't it? I mean, that's true of a lot of people, not just Argentinians, but the Brits as well. I mean, our team went through, and Jude Bellingham, yeah, a great player, lovely man, and so on and so forth. But what is his motivation? £50,000 a week or something? I mean, it's obscene and stupid.
No. We're talking hundreds of thousands a week.
Well, see, I'm out of date already.
Hundreds of thousands a week. I mean, for example, it is rumoured that Manchester City are paying Erling Haaland $500,000 a week, which is, you may agree, obscene.
Yes.
Lionel Messi, the RG superstar, who, again, though he didn't score, he fed the 2 goals. It was his passes that led to their 2 goals. He's a billionaire, and that will probably be his last World Cup, probably, as indeed it was Ronaldo's last World Cup, playing for Portugal. And they are the 2 iconic international footballers well beyond what England provide. And you say that Jude Bellingham is a nice man. He's not. He's reputed to be a very arrogant man, and very tricky to handle. And he plays for Real Madrid. My personal beef with him is that he was asked whether he wanted to join Manchester City, and he showed his fundamental ignorance of the history of football by saying he didn't want to join a plastic club, which demonstrated to me that he has absolutely no knowledge of the history of football.
Well, money corrupts, Philip. I mean, if you and I were on $500,000 a week, I know what I do with the first $500,000, but what the hell would I do with the second?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I read on the news this morning that Brand Beckham, David Beckham, Sir David Beckham, and Lady Ghoulish Victoria Beckham, they're still making fortunes of all sorts of things. It's not designer clothing or just that, or health foods, football teams. I mean, it's just extraordinary. And this is where their estranged son is, in my view, telling the absolute truth. It's Brand Beckham.
Yes.
Even sending the little sister round to where he wasn't, to the home, but he wasn't there, as if it was some sort of, olive branch. No, Brooklyn said. It was a photo shoot. It was a setup.
Yeah.
You know? And I believe him. He knows that lot backwards.
Yeah, well, I do too. I mean, having sort of been in the media world and seen behind the scenes, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. But here we are, having turned this very dicey profession now. Hi, Casper. Casper's interrupting in just the right times.
I heard you, but I can't hear Keith if you're going on.
but the thing is,
if you were in the room with me, he's absolutely deafening. I mean, they say that per weight, the wren, the bird, the wren, is the loudest, decibel-wise. Well, this bird could give any wren a run for its money. It is absolutely deafening. And if I were to go up to the top of my drive, to the road, I can hear it.
Really?
And all the birds outside hear it. Because some of the little ones will hop on the hedge in front of my window here, and they're curious as to what is making that noise. But there we are.
But actually, Philip, going back to the November conversation, is you and I are having a very nice chat between both friends and colleagues. We're sharing some thoughts with people that we don't know, have no idea who's watching us. And from what my colleague says is there are more and more and more. We're discussing interesting things. We have the freedom of speech, and I personally feel very satisfied. Now, do I want lots of money? Do I even want titles and things? The answer is no, with the exception of one. Do you know what my lifelong ambition is?
Tell me.
To be a Kentucky colonel.
A Kentucky colonel?
Yes. The Kentucky colonels are like the Honourable Artillery. an honorary regiment in the American Army from the time of the Civil War. And you get all sorts of privileges in Kentucky. Like you're able to go and knock on the governor's door and say, "Hi, Gov, give me 5 minutes." But mainly, you get free seats at the Kentucky Derby. You get invited to all sorts of interesting parties and events and so on and so forth. That is my ambition. And I mean, it is a burning ambition because I learned about the Kentucky Colonels when I was at university many, many, many years ago. And I always wanted to be. And I chatted to somebody, an American friend, and they said, "Well, what have you done for America?" And I said, "Well, I put up with bloody US aid, first of all. And I worked hard in Kosovo under the American colors." And he said, "Well, who was there?" And I said, "Oh, an ambassador called Reno Harnish III. He gasped. "Do you know how important that man has become?" Well, I know Reno and his wife extremely well. So I'm going to drop them a note and say, "Do you remember me? And do you remember the contribution I made? And would you please be my nominee to the Kentucky Colonels?"
Now, we are, by colonel or colonels, we're meaning the military rank.
Yes. An honorary rank, I may say.
Yes.
Yeah, I will not have a regiment at my beck and call.
No. Thank God for that. That would be very scary.
Wouldn't it?
The thought of you going into battle at the front of the regiment in the Red Devil in your hat. Yeah.
I'd be like Vlad the Impaler.
My only regret about being on today is that behind you, all I'm seeing are Argentina scoring goals, which I don't enjoy.
No.
But there we are.
But it is what it is. It's past. It's done with. Let's get on with life.
I mean, for the record, the Falkland Islands, I mean, historically, it was a land grab. You know, let's not pretend otherwise. It was a land grab.
But not much of one.
No.
Argentina weren't a bit interested in the land thing until we got it. And the one bit that you may know something about, Philip, that I don't, is somebody said, well, Argentina didn't become a country until 18-something.
I'll have to look that up, but that sounds about right.
Actually, I've just had a little note from one of our viewers. He said, "With all the interesting things that are going on in the world, why are you talking about football?" So there you are.
Well, the rest of the interesting things in the world, they may be of interest, but I find them quite depressing and chilling, to be honest.
Well, some of them. But I was watching a program last night, instead of football, I may say, in which they were studying some rocks from Mars, which raised the question once again: is was there once, many, many generations ago, life on Mars? Now, I've always found space quite fascinating, really, and I think there are a million unanswered questions out there that would tell us all sorts of interesting things about ourselves if we just got to the bottom of it. What's your view?
The cosmos is extremely interesting, yes. Whether nations should spend fortunes on going to distant planets, and the further away you go, the longer back they're going because of the light years. I don't know. It's just a matter. It's an interest. Yes, it's an interest.
Good morning. Teddy has just walked in. Philip, have you met Teddy? He's taken on Mirador television,
yes.
And he's very well known locally So he's doing the shopkeepers, while you and I will explore ambassadors and foreign fields and so on.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint. As I said when I first came on, that I thought it was going to be a three-way thing that allowed me to leave you at some point. But I've got quite a lot of domestic stuff to get on with.
That's okay.
So
what we managed to get this morning has reintroduced you to our viewership. You're a very popular guy with our viewers. You've got a very, very good mind. I don't have to tell you that, and I don't say it in any patronizing way, as you well know. And what you have to offer is something which, when I start to consider what Mirador contributes, it is experience and thoughts, which, if I may say so, the England side last night, they got lots of talent, but what they lacked was some sort of experience in handling that sort of situation.
Correct.
Experience, it just counts so much in life. And nowadays, because we are youth-oriented, we discount it. So, thank you.
Yeah, well, please, I must let that viewer who messaged you know I won't talk about football again.
Right.
So I will bid that person and your good self farewell until next week.
Well, I can't. The message just flashed up, and that viewer said, "Space, the last great frontier." Thank goodness you're talking about it. So there you are. You struck a chord.
No, you mentioned that, not me.
Well, it's my job to look around for things that we can talk about. When, as you said, if you didn't want to talk about football anymore, what do we talk about now? So it's up to me to find topics that I think that you would make a very, very serious contribution to. But you make a serious contribution to anything, Philip, because our opinions are terribly important. And it's our opinions that are being crushed by a whole series of forces, not least of which is our own government. And we've got to fight that.
Well, by next week, we can talk about Andy Burnham.
Indeed, we can.
So let's look forward to that.
Okay, well, go and bake your cake.
No,
save a slice for me.
No, I wish it were that exciting. It's stuff like laundry. It's laundry and watering the plants that are dying by the hour.
Oh, yeah.
As they wilt. So I'll love you and leave you. I'll see you next week, Keith.
All right, I look forward to that, Philip.
Good morning.
Bye-bye.
All right, you should have come in. Come and get a seat and let the viewers see you.
Hold on a second. I've just got.
The colourful. Okay, well, they can see you out of the corner of the screen.
I've got an upset stomach this morning.
Well, right. Okay. Well, you can see his shirt.
There we go.
He's colourful. He's going to fart his way through the day.
Yeah. Good morning, all.
But, our Teddy. Always very, very, very colourful. Okay. Well, what are you up to today?
Sorry.
What are you up to today?
Probably on the toilet.
Oh dear. Yes. Well, okay, you're giving leave to depart then.
I am.
Yeah.
Dental shopping. All right.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I'll put. I'll do the bank here the moment I'm off. Yeah.
Yes. All right. No worries.
Right, you are.
Okay. Later we'll do. All right.
Okay. Well, there we are. You see, we are of an age, as Philip says, when these little things are sent to try us. I don't mind, because of my mindset, having a go at getting down to Littlehampton. But the idea scares the hell out of him. So, what we'll do is we'll get him up to here and have a nice lunch up here. Now, I'm not going to talk football anymore. Frankly, I found the first half of last night's match as boring as any of the others. I should have stayed on for the drama, shouldn't I? But nonetheless, I didn't miss it. Disappointed in the results? Of course. I'm a Brit. But it is not going to affect my life today. I am not going to go around with a face 10 feet long, be surly, and not talk to people. How long have we been on the air? We have been on the air with really what's our first break and egg for 40 minutes. Now, I have been working on the last couple of days of making a few cartoon snippets. They're not really programs, so that we can put together a proper vlog. And I'm just waiting to have a meeting with our IT guy so that I get it right. Because those of you who watch know very well that I get things absolutely balls up when it comes to anything technical. I used to be reasonably competent, but I moved backwards at the same time as technology has moved forwards. Or has it? Passwords, passwords, passwords. Are they necessary? I don't think so. I do recognize there are secure sites that the government or charities or whatever want to protect certain pieces of information. That's fine, of course. There are bits of information that we would like to protect. But we don't need a plethora of passwords or security for me to go to sleep at night not worrying about it. KISS is always the overriding theme in training journalists from emerging economies and emerging democracies. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Well, keep it simple, and I'd like to remove the word stupid, but not while the present crop of young IT kids develop systems which they understand and nobody else does, because that's locking us out, and that is anti-democratic. So, YouTube, Microsoft, all the other people who run websites that are supposedly social media and meant to help us, get with it. Get with it and force these little buggers to look at how to simplify things and make it easy for the over 70s to access, not be confused, and not be stuck with these pop-ups or flashes or whatever the hell they call them that are telling me, buy this malware. I don't want to buy your malware, but you won't let me go. You keep on flashing up. Frankly, that's when my terrorist sympathies come out. I want to come and bomb your bloody computer. Not supposed to talk like that nowadays, you know. Another breakdown between old and young. There's no reason whatsoever that we can't be forceful in our views. Of course, I would never come and bomb your bloody computer. Because I feel like it sometimes. And we're not going to pretend any more than I pretend that when I look at a beautiful woman, I don't think, oh, how wonderful she is. And she may be the biggest bitch on the face of the earth. Those are thoughts which will randomly pass through my mind, and I am not apologizing to anybody for them. If I action them, that's totally different. Because I have a very firm belief, which I'm afraid modern generations do not, in rule of law. And if a law is a bad law, we change it. But we don't break it. Well, it's an interesting morning, Beth. And good morning, Kevin Kramer. Good to know that you're still with us. I know that you suffer from ill health the way that I do, and Richard does, and Philip does. And it turns you into a bit of a curmudgeon from time to time, and it does me. But we fight it through, and we're here giving a view. Let's keep at it. Back later on with Harry Atterson around 10 o'clock, an hour's time. In between time, I may experiment with one or two things. Let's see. So keep us on hold. Till then, toodles. Yeah. You see with technology, okay, now you can stop things, let alone start them. There's a sound. Ah, there, that's what I was looking for. Toodle-pip.